Section 5 of the Wit and Humor of America, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Grammatical Boy by Bill Nye. Sometimes a sad, homesick feeling comes over me when I compare the prevailing style of anecdote and school literature with the old McGuffey brand so well known 30 years ago. Today our juvenile literature, it seems to me, is so transparent, so easy to understand, that I am not surprised to learn that the rising generation shows signs of lawlessness. Boys today do not use the respectful language and large, luxuriant words that they did when Mr. McGuffey used to stand around and report their conversations for his justly celebrated school reader. It is disagreeable to think of, but it is none the less true, and for one, I think we should face the facts. I ask the careful student of school literature to compare the following selection, which I have written myself with great care and arranged with special reference to the matter of choice and difficult words, with the flippant and commonplace terms used in the average school book of today. One day, as George Pillgarlic was going to his tasks, and while passing through the wood, he spied a tall man approaching in an opposite direction along the highway. "Ah," thought George in a low, mellow tone of voice, "whom have we here?" "Good morning, my fine fellow," exclaimed the stranger pleasantly. "Do you reside in this locality?" "Indeed I do," retorted George cheerily, doffing his cap. "In yonder cottage near the glen my widowed mother and her 13 children dwell with me." "And is your father dead?" exclaimed the man with a rising inflection. "Extremely so," murmured the lad, "and oh, sir, that is why my poor mother is a widow." "And how did your papa die?" asked the man, as he thoughtfully stood on the other foot awhile. "Alas, sir," said George, as a large hot tear stole down his pale cheek and fell with a loud report on the warty surface of his bare foot, "he was lost at sea in a bitter gale. The good ship foundered 2 years ago last Christmas tide, and father was foundered at the same time. No one knew of the loss of the ship and that the crew was drowned until the next spring, and it was then too late." "And what is your age, my fine fellow?" quoth the stranger. "If I live till next October," said the boy in a declamatory tone of voice suitable for a second reader, "I will be 7 years of age." "And who provides for your mother and her large family of children?" queried the man. "Indeed I do, sir," replied George in a shrill tone. "I toil, oh, so hard, sir, for we are very, very poor, and since my elder sister, Anne, was married and brought her husband home to live with us, I have to toil more assiduously than heretofore." "And by what means do you obtain a livelihood?" exclaimed the man, in slowly measured and grammatical words. "By digging wells, kind sir," replied George, picking up a tired ant as he spoke and stroking it on the back. "I have a good education, and so I am able to dig wells as well as a man. I do this daytimes, and take in washing at night. In this way I am enabled barely to maintain our family in a precarious manner. But oh, sir, should my other sisters marry, I fear that some of my brothers-in-law would have to suffer." "And do you not fear the deadly fire damp?" asked the stranger in an earnest tone. "Not by a damp sight," answered George, with a low gurgling laugh, for he was a great wag. "You are indeed a brave lad," exclaimed the stranger, as he repressed a smile. "And do you not at times become very weary and wish for other ways of passing your time?" "Indeed I do, sir," said the lad. "I would fain run and romp and be gay like other boys, but I must engage in constant manual exercise, or we will have no bread to eat, and I have not seen a pie since papa perished in the moist and moaning sea." "And what if I were to tell you that your papa did not perish at sea, but was saved from a humid grave?" asked the stranger in pleasing tones. "Ah, sir!" exclaimed George, in a genteel manner, again doffing his cap, "I am too polite to tell you what I would say, and besides, sir, you are much larger than I am." "But, my brave lad," said the man in low musical tones, "do you not know me, Georgy? Oh, George!" "I must say," replied George, "that you have the advantage of me. Whilst I may have met you before, I cannot at this moment place you, sir." "My son, oh, my son!" murmured the man, at the same time taking a large strawberry mark out of his valise and showing it to the lad. "Do you not recognize your parent on your father's side? When our good ship went to the bottom, all perished save me. I swam several miles through the billows, and at last, utterly exhausted, gave up all hope of life. Suddenly I stepped on something hard. It was the United States. "And now, my brave boy," exclaimed the man with great glee, "see what I have brought for you." It was but the work of a moment to unclasp from a shawl strap which he held in his hand and present to George's astonished gaze a large 40-cent watermelon, which until now had been concealed by the shawl strap. End of The Grammatical Boy. Recording by Trisha G.